Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm the History Battalion Corner and today we will be talking about the 3rd Canadian Infantry Division during World War II. We will be following in the footsteps of the history of the division from their forming to D-Day and eventually all the conflicts in Normandy, all the way up until the end of the war. So without anything else, let's get right into it. The formation of the 3rd Canadian Infantry Division was authorised on 17th of May 1940. There was then a delay until the brigade and divisional headquarters were formed on the 5th of September, also in 1940. The 1st Divisional Commander was appointed on 26th of October of that year. While the division's components were forming, the Cameron Highlanders of Ottawa, a Canadian Reserve Infantry Regiment, was detached and transferred to Iceland as part of Z-Force. The battalion spent the winter of 1940 to 1941 there, then moved to the United Kingdom along with the 8th and 9th Infantry Brigades as they began embarking as early as 1st of July 1941, arriving in the UK by the end of the month. The 7th Infantry Brigade embarked in August and arrived at the beginning of September. After its arrival, the division spent 3 uneventful years in garrison and training duties. Juno Beach, the second beach from the east among the 5 landing zones in the Normandy region, was 6 miles or 10 kilometers wide, and stretched on either side of the Courcelles-sur-Mer. 2 smaller villages, Beniers and St. Aubin, lay to the east of Courcelles. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Smaller coastal villages lay behind the sand dunes of Juno Beach, laying between the British, Sword and Gold beaches. Juno was directly in between them. The 3rd Canadian Infantry Division, with the 2nd Canadian Armoured Brigade under command, landed in 2 brigade groups. The 7th and 8th Canadian Infantry Brigade, the 9th Canadian Infantry Brigade was being kept in reserve and landed later that same day, advancing through the lead brigades, the 27th Armoured Regiment of the Sherbrooke Fusiliers Regiment providing tank support. The initial assault was carried out by the North Shore Regiment on the left at St. Aubin at Nan Red Beach, the Queen's Own Rifles in the centre at Beniers at Nan White Beach, the Regina Rifles at Courcelles at Nan Green Beach, and the Royal Winnipeg Rifles on the western edge of the Courcelles at Mike Red and Mike Green Beaches. Overall, on the 6th of June 1944, Canadian air, land and sea forces suffered approximately 950 casualties on D-Day, the majority being soldiers from the 3rd Canadian Infantry Division, of the overall 21,400 troops that landed on Juno Beach that day. By noon, the entire division was ashore and leading elements had pushed several kilometers inland to seize bridges over the Sills. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. By 6 p.m. they had captured the town of St. Aubin-sur-Mer. A 1st Hussars armoured troop reached its objective along with men of the Queen's Own Rifles of Canada, a primary reserve regiment of the Canadian Armed Forces. Before nightfall, when both units were moved 15 kilometers inland and crossed the Coyambex Highway, by the end of D-Day, the division had penetrated farther into France than any other Allied force. Though counterattacks by elements of 2 German armoured divisions prevented further major gains for 4 weeks. The initial hazard for the invaders at Juno, however, was not the German obstacles, but natural offshore reefs or shoals. These forced the assault waves to land later D-Day morning than desired. Elements of the German 716th Infantry Division, particularly the 736th Regiment, were responsible for defense of the area, and the seafront houses offered them excellent observation and firing positions down on the invaders. The 3rd Canadian Infantry Division served extensively in the Battle of Normandy as a component firstly of the 1st British Corps, and later under the command of the 2nd Canadian Corps. On the 7th of June, units of the division became the first among the Allies to secure their D-Day objectives. The villages of Affiore and Carpuc both saw heavy fighting between the Canadians and the German defenders of the 12th SS Panzer Division. Over the course of 5 days, the 12th SS launched a series of counterattacks to crush the Canadian bridgehead and throw them back into the sea, although that did not happen, of course. The attacks cost the 12th SS a third of their armoured strength, and they were forced to retire in the face of stubborn resistance. On 4th of July 1944, the 3rd Canadian Division, along with the British 3rd and 59th Infantry Divisions, supported by elements of the 79th Armoured Division, launched Operation Windsor, capturing the Carpuq airfield and surrounding areas from the 12th SS after several hours of confused and hard fighting. On 8th of July, the 3rd Canadian Division participated in Operation Charnwood, the British's Second Army's final advance on the northern parts of Caen. Once again, the Canadians excelled and captured all their objectives, after suffering once again heavy casualties. On 18th of July, Operation Atlantic was launched, the Canadian advance that would coincide with Operation Goodwood happening further east by British forces in the area south of Caen. The 2nd and 3rd Canadian Divisions, supported by integral armour support, advanced towards Caen. One of the objectives being the village Colombelles and the surrounding hills. This village and the surrounding area were defended by the battle-proven 21st Panzer Division. After several hours of confused fighting on the 18th and the 19th, the Germans were forced to back out from the outskirts of the town and push back over the River Orne. On September 5th, the 3rd Canadian overran the fortress of Mameux, revealing the infrastructure for the unknown V3 cannon destroyed by the Tallboy bombs in July of that year. Between the 17th and the 22nd of September 1944, the 3rd Canadian were intimately involved in the liberation of Boulogne-sur-Mer, during which a French civilian guided the Canadians to a secret passage leading to a walled old town and bypassing the German defenders. By October 1st, 1944, the division had also liberated Calais. And there it ends our story. I hope you guys love watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learnt something today in this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for the next video where I talk about the 82nd Airborne Division from America. Goodbye.